It was a Sunday, November 13th. I had just come from traveling in Boston, giving a talk there, and shared with you some of the insights that came out of that. And from this pulpit, I spoke these words. We as one strong body are required to lead by being. When we feel the impulse to be the interrogator, we must choose to be the generator of visions larger than ourselves. When we feel the impulse to be enraged, we must accept the invitation to be empathetic and no longer make people the object of our aggression. When we feel the impulse to be furious, let us dare to be curious. When we feel the impulse to be righteous, let us transform our soapbox into a music box. Let us dare to be powerfully playful. Sounds beautiful, doesn't it? From this pulpit, I shared that message on Sunday. And then Tuesday rolled around. I want to tell you a story of what happened on Tuesday, just after I spoke those words. I was up in New York City, like I am on every Tuesday, and after finishing up some of my doctoral work, I met my partner at NYU, and we went to a lecture. He's really into this series called Would the World Be Better Off Without Religion? So I said, yes, dear, I'll go. And so we were all very excited, and we get there an hour and a half early in order to get really good seats. It was open seating. And when we arrive, we get seats right in the middle of the fifth row. He was so happy. He was like a little kid, just like, yeah. Do you know about this speaker and this speaker? And I'm like, yes, dear, yes, dear. So the event's about to start, and he says, I'm going to use the restroom. He put his coat onto the seat. The usher then says, any empty seats are going to go to the people who haven't found a seat. And they say, this one's saved because he's in the bathroom. She said, yeah, I understand. She then moves around, was helping some other people. And then a woman, and it seems like her husband, came over and picked up his jacket and sat down in the seat next to me. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, he's in the bathroom, and that's taken. And she didn't say anything. She just remained seated, and then she put the coat over to her husband, and then that coat fell on the ground. And I said, I'm sorry, this seat was already taken. We've been here for an hour and a half. Look, actually, he's right there. And by this point, Vikram stopped over. And I said, look, he's standing right there. We're seated in this seat. She says, this is not a good story. She says, we sponsored this event. Okay. So on Sunday, when we feel the impulse to be enraged, let's be empathetic and not make people the object of aggression. Well, I did not do that at all. Instead, what I said was this. Oh, you're the 1%. I've been wanting to meet you. You say you sponsored this event. Do you own the chair or the whole theater? It gets worse. Vikram says, oh, where's my coat? Where's my coat? I said, they just put it on the ground. He's like, what? And so he picks it up, and then I say, she's a 1%er. She thinks she owns the joint. And then all these people start looking at us, and they're like, everyone's tense. She's sitting there in her chair with her pearls, just looking straight forward. And I keep going. I say, this is just us, right? Just family. We can be honest here. I say, well, shame-free zone, thank you. I say, you must be someone really important. Are you famous? If not, let me help you be. I think people should know who you look like and how you behave in the public sphere. Let me take your picture. I'll entitle it Entitlement. Oh my God. All right. So that's the worst of it. So here's the thing. I then picked up my things, and at this point, the event was just starting. Vikram is on another side of the theater. I go to the house manager, and I say, I want to show you this picture. This is what just happened. I'm not going to do anything with the picture. I just want you to know who is saying that they're sponsoring the event and how they're behaving. And she was very apologetic and said, oh, let us give you season tickets to this series. And I'm like, oh, great. I have season tickets to Why the World Would Be Better Off Without Religion. Thank you very much. So I come back. I find a seat in the back, up in the balcony, and I enjoyed the debates. And it was it. That was it. So I shared this story with Renoir, and I'm like, so you got to see her. Take a look at her picture. And she asked me a really powerful, spiritually mature question, which was, why are you keeping the picture? I think maybe pride. I think I kind of want to gloat. I think I have this belief that there's some scorecards out there that give me points for humiliating people, of like, yeah, I really got it. I was really like witty and sarcastic and yeah. So by many standards, I was like, ding, 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 earning points. The scorecard that I have is up there. And I'm really struggling to get there. I feel like I'm here. One day I'll be here, other day I'll be there, and I'm like in that struggle. And so, Renoir, thank you for inspiring me. I just deleted the picture. I think that it's important for me to do so because I don't need to hold on to this. I don't need to pretend that I did a good job because I didn't, not by my own standards. I don't want to be that person who is humiliating people, even if I felt justified. Isn't that the game we're playing? That the minute we see some act of injustice, we pounce. I pounce. I engage, and all of a sudden, I am the righteous one. Well, you'll remember that on that Sunday, I also shared these words from this beautiful pulpit. What does justice making look like when we receive hostile communication? Remember the story, Pat Robertson's senior executive wrote me that note, and I wrote back. So what do we do when we receive hostile communication? Do we choose to be hostile in return? I literally said this 2 days earlier. Or is something else required of us? What we choose to do is a reflection of who we believe ourselves to be. It all depends about our beliefs about power. I once believed it powerful to condemn wrongdoers. Oh my God. I believed it right to tear down another's unexamined assumptions and vaporize those whose presence was not worthy of my attention. I believed that others were the cause of my aggression. Others were to blame for my feelings of despair, disappointment, righteous indignation. Rather than anger being used as a signal, it became a solution to all my problems. It felt good to fuel the addiction of righteousness. I am merely 5 years into my ministry, and I have long since mastered the art of being an asshole. I have spent far too much energy using the public forum as a battlefield. I've spent far too much energy using the public forum annihilating those perceived to be my enemy. I have armed myself with faithful friends so that each time we walked into a room, those present would shade their gaze and whisper with dread, "Oh no, the UUs have arrived." I used to believe being feared was powerful. I used to believe it was my duty to free the oppressed. But then when reacting with righteous anger, guess who became the oppressor? So here's the point of this story today. I want to ask us, what is the purpose of a pulpit? I don't preach from it often, because I think I'm in a very formative time in my life where I'm afraid of the authority. Frankly, I feel like I'm afraid that if I come up here and say stuff about who I want to be and what I want to do and how we should live, and if I don't live up to that, I will then be condemned in such a righteous way that I condemn others. Because the fact is, like, if I am behaving if I'm behaving in a way that is putting this woman on notice, taking her picture, how am I relating to myself? And what does that say about my beliefs of power, of justice making? What do I believe about the pulpit? We know pulpits have been used far too long as the bully pulpit, right? As the righteous soapbox from which to look down on others, to shame and blame them. But we also know it can be used as another way, to articulate our highest ideals. And I think that's where I'm at. I want to have a place where all of us in our shared ministry can articulate our highest ideals, to call us into community, so that when we blow it on Tuesday, we can come back again on Sunday and be like, yeah, I totally blew it. Can I try again? And we go out in the world again and we do it, which leads me to ask, if the pulpit is the place where we can express our highest ideals, what's the role of a minister? Is my role to live those ideals at every minute, and then when I don't, should you fire me? Should be like, okay, you're out of here. Like you said you would do, you said, you would treat people this way, and then you treat people this way, you're out. Or is a minister something else? A minister is a co-conspirator with you in the struggle of being alive, of being human. A partner in your journey, for you are a partner in my journey, and we struggle together all the time, week after week, week after week. Which leads me to ask, what is this place? What is church? What is this particular place? I see it as a training ground where we can come in, we can go really deep into the nitty-gritty parts of life, challenge ourselves, be really frickin' honest with ourselves, and then say, all right, that's who I was yesterday. Here's who I'm seeking to be tomorrow. But today, I'm in the struggle. Will you just sing with me? Will you just sit with me in silence? Let's practice. Let's do a role play. Let's redo. Let's redo. Let's delete all the pictures in our minds that we hold as justification for our grudges. Let's delete them. Let's hit reboot and start again. Start again. That's what we do here. The church, by its design, is a moral training ground for us to wrestle with very difficult situations and to ask ourselves, are we sure about that? And my role is to help facilitate this and create an authentic space where we can all lay it down. But that does not mean that we do not articulate our future visions. That doesn't mean we stop making aspirations because we know that 2 days later we will not be able to meet them. We make them even stronger the next time. We refine them because of the mistakes we made. We put that theory into practice, we practice again, and in turn, we grow. And so that's why I want to close this confessional sermon with these lines. I've written them down. I believe them. I don't know if I can achieve them. But here goes. It's Sunday. It's a new week. I'm going to try again. We as seekers of freedom are required to make justice not only a product, but a process. Just actions are the means by which we can achieve just results. When we observe oppression, let us develop strategies that free not only the oppressed, but also the oppressor. Those who use their power to deny freedom to others are also imprisoned, and they are also worthy of our care. Do not let their unjust actions inspire us to employ cruel means, or else we will become what we set out against. So the challenge is this: take up the miseducation of justice. Strip our consciousness from images of equality that make us believe that condemnation, humiliation, shame, blame, and righteous indignation will create justice. No. The craft of justice making begins with a just thought, a kind action, inspiring us to collective action, daring to be both free ourselves, daring to help free the oppressed, and daring to free the oppressor, for we know what it is like to be both. So don't get me wrong. Stand we must. Stand strong, stand bold, but rather than shoving our foot on the oppressor's neck, let us dare to reach out a hand, offer a seat, go with the flow, choose our battles, and show them, and show ourselves a new way of leading by being. I do not know what this way looks like yet, but hopefully together we can figure it out. I want to sing. This is my favorite song in this hymnal. It's number 1015. Sing with me. Rise and sing with me.